Joe Biden is absolutely flailing. We had a poll last week, Quinnipiac, suggesting that his approval rating was down at 33%. Well, now we have a second poll from Civics suggesting that his approval rating is at 34%. So this makes 2 straight polls in which Joe Biden is in the low 30s. These are abysmal numbers if you are the president of the United States. And this follows hard on a Morning Consult Politico poll that shows that only 11% of Americans after 1 year give Joe Biden an A grade as president of the United States, and only another 20% give him a B, which means that 69% of Americans say that Joe Biden is a C or below president, including 37% of Americans who say that he's got an F. So this guy is a fail. He is a giant fail. And as we discussed yesterday, he is failing on every front. Well, the Biden administration, because they have no capacity to shift gears, they are not Clintonian. Joe Biden is not Bill Clinton. He's not a talented politician like Barack Obama. He's a nothing. He's a big nothing burger of a human. And he's been a nothing burger of a human since he entered the Senate and was quickly seen to be a bloviating bag of plagiarism. Ever since then, the president of the United States has had a really tough time shifting gears. He is not somebody who shifts and moves quickly. He is somebody who sort of bobs atop the eddies of political life. He's not a leader. He's not somebody who is going to forcibly move forward his agenda. He is just a guy who happens to be kind of dead center of where the Democratic Party is at any given point. And that means that he does not have the capacity to change course. He cannot do it. And so when his administration basically said, you know what, we've got a comms problem here, and this was the story over the last few days, we need to shift comms, right? Whenever a politician says, and when they start leaking stories to the press about how they are going to shift communication strategy, you know that this politician is a failure. When they say they're going to shift political strategy, you know that the politician might actually be capable of changing. But when they're refusing to change any of their political strategies, they're just going to shift how they talk to people, forget it. Because politicians are what they are. I've yet to see a politician who's capable of really shifting what they are. Well, what made Bill Clinton very effective is that Bill Clinton was incredibly malleable as a politician. One day he could be conservative, one day he could be far left. But his mannerisms were not particularly malleable, right? He just had broad range. As an actor, Bill Clinton had broad range, right? Sometimes he was crying in front of camera, denying things, and the next day he was crying, apologizing for the same things. Sometimes he was doing jovial Bill Clinton. Sometimes he was doing sad and empathetic Bill Clinton. He had a lot of range. Barack Obama didn't have a lot of range, but he had a lot of charisma. Joe Biden has neither range nor charisma. And so when his team says, we need to get you out in front of the cameras more, the first reaction for anyone smart inside the White House should have been, no, we don't. No, we don't. This guy became president literally because he did not get in front of cameras. It is amazing how many politicians think they are popular because people like them, as opposed to being popular because people hate their opponents. Politics is oppositional by nature, and people do not love Joe Biden. And they certainly don't love him after what he did in Afghanistan, which is when his polls really tanked. Okay, so yesterday, Joe Biden decides, I need to save this presidency. It's time to save the presidency. I'm going to do a press conference. At this point, Jen Psaki started drinking heavily. Jen Psaki picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue, man. So Joe Biden decides he's going to hold his first presser in months. And for all of those wondering why Joe Biden doesn't do press conferences, this would be the reason. The man went on for 2 long, interminable hours. He started babbling nonsensically. He started stepping all over his own you-know-what. He is not capable. This is not a capable, competent, coherent president. He is not. So this whole thing opens with him being asked by Zeke Miller from the Associated Press about whether he overpromised when he entered office, because he said he was going to shut down the virus and he was going to create a booming economy, he was going to bring world peace, all the rest of it. And Joe Biden's answer was, of course, defensive, because Joe Biden is a defensive, nasty person. This has been true in the Senate forever. It was true on the campaign trail. He literally said on the campaign trail to a detractor, a Bernie Sanders fan detractor, he literally said, look fat to the guy. I mean, that's who Joe Biden is. So he does that with a reporter here.
Did you overpromise to the American public what you could achieve in your first year in office? And how do you plan to course correct going forward?
Why are you such an optimist? Look, I didn't overpromise, but I have probably outperformed what anybody thought would happen. The fact of the matter is that we're in a situation where we have made enormous progress.
He said he's outperformed expectations. Unless those expectations were that he would have a 0% approval rating, he has not outperformed expectations. This is a person whose delta between high approval rating and low approval rating is about 16%. He went from about 54, well, more than that, almost 20%. He's down from about 54 all the way down to low 30s, according to some of these polls. That's a huge delta. So no. And one of the reasons is because he's absolutely incoherent. So yesterday, I mean, it's hard to watch these press conferences with Joe Biden because you do feel in real time that you may be watching the last Joe Biden press conference. You feel like he might actually physically keel over. His brain just stops functioning in the middle of these exchanges. It's incredible. Right? He's just incoherent. So here is Joe Biden rambling and then going silent, talking about the voters.
The voter who is just trying to figure out, as I said, how to take care of their family, put three squares on the table, stay safe, be able to pay their mortgage or their rent, etc., is becoming much more informed on the motives of some of the political players and some of the political parties.
It's all fine. This is fine dog.gif. Dog in fiery room. You know, I used to live in Boston for 3 years when I was in law school. And being from a very warm clime, I was not used to the icy conditions. And so I remember one time I went over to the local kosher grocery store to pick up some food. And like an idiot, I parked on the ice. I didn't know anything. So I parked on the ice. So I get back in the car and I start trying to gun the engine to actually move the car. And the car's going nowhere. The wheels are just spinning and spinning and spinning and spinning. That is Joe Biden's brain right now. It's just spinning and it's going nowhere. There's no traction there. He is not with us. This is a president who is not with us. And so he's asked, some people question your mental fitness. He's like, Shapiro. Come on, man.
Why do you suppose such large segments of the American electorate have come to harbor such profound concerns about your cognitive fitness? Thank you.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't. I am sure he doesn't. The good news about a press conference this bad for Joe Biden is that he doesn't remember it even now. Within 5 minutes, it was gone from his brain. Okay, also, I mean, again, I can just show you clip after clip from this press conference. Just play them over and over of Joe Biden completely falling apart. There's a point where he said, he's going to ask a rhetorical question. No, he won't. By the way, his dead giveaway in terms of body language is him clutching his portfolio. He's got this portfolio that usually sits on the desk. He starts clutching it defensively almost. It's bizarre.
I don't think there's been much on any incoming president's plate that's been a bigger menu than the plate I had given to me. I'm not complaining. Knew that running in. And the fact of the matter is we got an awful lot done. An awful lot done. And there's more to get done. But look, let me ask a rhetorical question. No, I won't. Anyway.
What is going on? What is going on? And then just kind of clutching his portfolio there. What is happening? What's happening? Then he's asked about the polls. And question, who said it? Donald Trump or Joe Biden? Fake news, fake polls. It was really bad when Trump said it, right? Trump wasn't allowed to doubt polls. But Joe Biden does it all the time. Here we go.
How do you plan to win back moderates and independents who cast a ballot for you in 2020, but polls indicate aren't happy with the way you're doing your job now?
I don't believe the polls.
Oh, he doesn't believe the polls, so I guess they don't exist anymore. He's not casting aspersions to the press. He just doesn't believe the polls. And good news for Democrats, this geriatric dotard is going to be heavily involved in the midterms, he says. Congratulations to all you Democrats in purple districts. And I hope that you have a nice lobbying job lined up because, man, it ain't going to go great.
I'm going to be deeply involved in these off-year elections.
Uh-oh.
We're going to be raising a lot of money. We're going to be out there making sure that we're helping all of those candidates, and scores of them have already asked me to come in and campaign with them, to go out and make the case in plain, simple language as to what it is we've done, what we want to do, and why we think it's important.
Now, for all those battleground Congress people and senators, it's time to break out that sad trombone from The Price is Right. Boo, 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 boo. Because Joe Biden jet setting into your territory is probably your worst nightmare. Right? You're running a competitive race, and here comes an incoherent, he's got nothing. And that guy's going to jet in and he's going to fix your race. Good luck with that. On topic after topic yesterday, Joe Biden just crapped the bed. I mean, he just made a mess. And Jen Psaki, who's the night nurse of the White House, she had to try and fix some of these things. But again, Jen Psaki picked the wrong week to stop doing meth. This is not the right week for that. Did you know that every single like creates one additional leftist tier? That is just science.